Hi everyone, welcome to SKR Yoga and Wellness. My name is Sam and this is my YouTube channel. Today's class is going to focus all on the shoulders and upper back and upper body. So we're going to focus on releasing this area as well as adding strength to our shoulders and our upper back as well. So we'll just jump right in and get started. So find yourself in a seated position here, sitting up nice and tall right on top of your sit bones. We're just going to exhale and let the chin fall towards the chest, and then roll the head very slowly over to the right side. And then on an exhale, bring it back to the center. Inhale over to the left side. Exhale to center. Inhale to the right. Exhale to center. Inhale to the left. We're moving very slow here. Being very gentle and kind with our neck. As we come over to the right side, we're going to hold here for a moment. You're going to take your left hand and just walk your fingertips out onto the mat as far as they can go without moving your upper body. Feel free to stay here in this position if this feels like enough. Or you can bring your right hand over top of your head and just gently feel like you're trying to separate your ear from your shoulder. So we're not pushing down on the head, we're just creating a little bit more space. And just breathing into that neck release here. Again, staying very soft and gentle, we're not forcing anything. Let's take 2 more breaths. First, release both of your hands back down onto the mat, and then exhale, come back to center. Inhale, bring your head over to the left. Same thing, we're gonna walk our right fingertips out towards the side, and then bringing our left hand up and over to rest on our opposite ear, and just very gently trying to create more space, separating the ear from the shoulder. Not forcing anything. Two more breaths. And once again, first releasing the hands back down to the mat. Then exhale, bringing your head back to center, chin towards your chest. And then very slowly lifting it back up. So next we're going to move into archer arms. So you're going to take your right hand, reach it up and bend your elbow so that hand comes in between your shoulder blades at your back. And you're going to take your left hand, reach it underneath, and try as best as you can to interlace your fingers. I know you can't see, but my fingertips just barely touch, so I have a little bit of work to do in this posture here. But if you're struggling to get your fingertips together, it helps to hold a strap or even a belt, just so we still have that connection between the hands. And once again, just breathing into that left arm and shoulder, just releasing the tension, breathing into that place. And on your next exhale, release your left hand first and then your right back down onto the floor. And right away we'll go to the other side. So reaching your left arm up, bending it back behind your head, rest that hand in between your shoulder blades, and then take your right hand, reach it behind you. Once again, trying to grasp fingertips or hanging onto a belt. And we'll breathe here into the stretch. Keep your belly button pulling in towards your spine. And on your next exhale, release your right hand first and then your left back down onto the mat. So we're gonna come onto all fours here. So bringing your knees under your hips, your hands underneath your shoulders, rolling through some cycles of cat and cow. So on an inhale, arching the belly, looking up, and exhale, curving the spine. Inhale, let the belly drop. Exhale, curving the spine. And now as we do this, start to pay extra attention to your shoulder blades. So while we're here in cow position, pinch your shoulder blades together. And as we come into cat, push your shoulders away from you here. So they're really rounding and coming flat against your rib cage. So inhale, arch to bring your shoulder blades together. And exhale, push into the mat. Let's do 2 more like this. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And come back to a neutral spine. So we have a nice long place here. We're going to come into thread the needle. So we're going to lift our right arm all the way up, finding a little twist. And then exhale, cross that arm so your shoulder comes all the way down onto the mat. Keep your hips around top of your knees here. And you can extend your left fingertips out onto the mat or keep your hand pushing underneath your shoulder. Breathing into the center of your back. And bringing your left hand back underneath you if it was extended. On an inhale, reaching that right arm all the way back up to find that twist. And float that hand back down to the mat, going right away to the second side. Inhaling the left arm up. Exhale, cross it all the way underneath you till that shoulder comes down onto the floor. And you can extend your right hand if you wish, keeping your fingertips pressing into the mat. And breathing into the center of your back. And if your right hand was extended, bring it back underneath you. And on your next inhale, reach that left arm back up towards the sky and float your palm back down to the mat. So you're gonna turn to face the long edge of your mat. Start sitting on your heels and then just shift your hips over to the left side of your feet. And then we're gonna open up the legs so they're both coming to a 90-degree angle. So my left leg here is, the leg closer to the mat is at a 90-degree angle, and I'm keeping both of my feet flexed. And then my right leg is also at a 90-degree angle behind me here. So it's a very angular position with the legs. And then we're just gonna lower our elbow right in line with our hip onto the floor, and our forearm is parallel to our thigh. So again, finding another 90-degree angle here. And right away, I want you to push your fingers into the mat. So if I was there and I came around, I shouldn't be able to lift your fingers off of the mat because you're pushing them down that hard. So then we also want to just rotate our shoulder so your shoulder blade is flat against your rib cage. You can use your right hand to reach around and just feel what it feels like when that shoulder blade kind of locks into position. And to achieve this, you'll need to push your elbow down into the mat to bring that shoulder down away from your ear and slide your shoulder blade down your back. So we're in this super engaged position here, and we're gonna maintain all of this engagement as we take our right hand and reach it forward on an angle. So we're reaching towards the corner of our mat. And then from here, pushing into the mat even more to slightly lift the hips. Lower the hips back down, and then come all the way back to where we started. Maybe use that hand again to make sure that your shoulder blade is flat against your back once more. We'll do this twice more, so reaching forward, keeping those fingers pressing into the floor, lifting the hips off ever so slightly, barely an inch, setting them back down on the mat, and coming back to where we started. Check in with that shoulder blade once more. Last one, you got this. Exhale, reach forward. Inhale, slight lift. Exhale, place it back down and recover. Once again, checking in with that shoulder blade. Let's hang on here for just a couple more breaths. And push yourself back up, releasing that posture. So we'll come back to a seated position. So you're going to reach your left hand, the arm that we just worked, out towards the side. And I want you to think that you're reaching as far as you can, like you're trying to touch the wall beside you. And then it helps just to place your right hand on your chest while we do this reach. And then we're just gonna rotate the arm, so we're turning the palm to face the back, and then turning the palm to face up towards the ceiling. Turning it to face the back, turning it to face the ceiling. Let's repeat this once more. Really reaching, we're trying as hard as we can to touch that wall without letting our torso move. And bring the palm back to face down towards the floor and release. You might feel that this left shoulder feels a lot more open, and I can't really tell, but I might even look a little bit lopsided here with this shoulder totally released and relaxed. So let's get to work on the second side. So we're gonna bring our feet over to the left side. Once again, finding this really angular position with our legs here. So my right leg is down on the floor, 90 degrees, and my left leg is reaching over top, also at 90 degrees. Bringing my right elbow in line with my hip, forearm, again, making that 90-degree angle. Fingers are spreading as wide as they can, pushing down into the mat really, really hard, and we're pushing the elbow into the floor, and again, letting that shoulder blade wrap around and flatten against our rib cage. And we're gonna take that left arm now, maintaining that push into the mat, extend the arm out on an angle, and lifting the hips off the floor ever so slightly, setting the hips back down, and coming back to where we started, maintaining that push into the floor and the elbow the entire time. Check in with your shoulder blade, make sure it's still flat against your back. And as we do this, make sure that we're keeping our core engaged as well. So my belly button is pulling in towards the spine. And we'll continue. Left arm reaching on that diagonal once more. On an inhale, lifting slightly off the floor. Set the hips back down. And exhale, release the twist. Coming back, feeling that shoulder blade pull down the back once more. Last time, left arm extends out on the angle. Inhale, pushing into the floor. Exhale, set the hips back down and release. And once again, check in with your shoulder blade. Make sure it's flat against your back. Hang on to it for a few more breaths. Continue to push into the mat. And release. Push into your palm to come all the way back up. Find that seated position once more. And we'll extend our right arm now out to the side. Again, reaching out through the middle finger and trying to imagine that you're touching the opposite wall beside you. And we'll turn the palm to face back and turn it once again to face up towards the ceiling. Turning it down to face back and up towards the ceiling. Let's do twice more here. Still trying to find that reach. And again, up towards the ceiling. And last one, reaching and pulling, twisting towards the back. And curve towards the ceiling. And release that arm back down. Hopefully now we feel a little bit more even in the shoulders. We're just gonna come back to all fours. Walking the hands a little bit forward towards the front of the mat, tucking the toes and finding downward dog. This is our first downward dog of the class, so feel free to paddle the feet. Shake your head out yes and no to relax your neck. Push your shoulders down away from your ears. Feel your shoulder blades sliding down against your back. It should feel really nice after that laying exercise we just did. And we'll stay here for a couple more breaths. And from this downward dog, we're going to lower our hips and roll through to a plank position. Again, really feel your shoulders pushing away from you here. And I'm going to do this on the left side first, just so you can see me better. So my heels are going to fall to the left, and I'm going to open my right arm up to find side plank here on the left side. And now on an exhale, I'm going to curve this right arm in to cross my opposite arm and then come back into side plank. I'm going to repeat this 3 more times. So curving in and inhale to come back up. Curving in. Keep that left shoulder really stable and really push into the floor as we do this. Last one to come all the way back up. And we'll place the right hand back down to find a square plank position. And then we're gonna lift that left leg and just swing it forward to find a low lunge. So the right knee is gonna fall onto the mat. And let's bring the arms all the way up overhead here. Shoulders sliding down your back. And let's open up the arms so the palms are going to turn to face forward. And we're going to bend at the elbows. So we're making 2 90-degree angles, almost like cactus arms. And then on an inhale, we're just going to lift the heart towards the sky. So we're finding a slight arch here. Feeling the shoulder blades coming together at your back. And on an inhale, come back to a straight spine. Bring the arms back up overhead and float them back down to the mat. We're going to bring our right foot in to meet the left to find a ragdoll fold at the front of our mat. Just take a moment here. And let's place the left palm down on the floor. Your left knee will bend as you open up and twist towards the right. Your gaze can be wherever is comfortable for your neck. And on an exhale, let's switch. So right hand now comes down onto the mat. Right knee bends as we twist and extend to the left. Both hands back down to the mat. Let's bend the knees generously, and we're going to roll up through each vertebra. Head is the last thing to recover, to come all the way to stand at the front of the mat. Now we're going to shift most of our weight over onto the right foot. And then we're coming into eagle pose, so I'm going to take my left leg and wrap it over once or twice over my right. Arms come up towards the sides here. And then as I bend my arms, my left comes under the right to again wrap once or twice. So you should feel a nice opening in the center of your back. Just breathe into that place between your shoulder blades. And imagine roots growing from the bottom of your feet into the mat, into the floor. And on your next exhale, release the arms back out to the sides. Bring them onto your hips as we release that foot back down onto the mat. And let's flow through to downward dog. So on an inhale, reaching the arms up overhead, palms go to touch. Exhale, dive forward over your shins. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, step your feet back to plank, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here. And now repeating that sequence over on the right side. So rolling through to plank, letting the heels fall to the right this time, keeping the right shoulder steady and strong as we come into side plank. And exhale, cross the left arm over. Inhale, bring it back, side plank. Exhale, cross it over, keeping that right shoulder nice and strong, pushing away from you. Exhale, cross. Inhale, up. You got this. Last one. Exhale, across. Inhale, back up. And finding plank position. Lifting that right foot to swing it forward. Finding a low lunge. Arms come up beside your ears. Sinking the hips down. And once again, finding a cactus position with the arms first. So we have two 90-degree angles, and we're gonna have a slight arch up towards the sky. So our heart and chest is opening up wide as we breathe. And on an inhale, releasing that arch, bringing the arms back up overhead first before we plant the palms back down. Bringing the left foot in to meet the right at the top of the mat, finding our red dot fold. And we will repeat those twists once more. So let's start with the right hand now, flat down on the mat. Right knee will bend as we twist towards the left. And exhale, switch left hand down, right arm up, finding a twist towards the right. And exhale, releasing both hands back down onto the mat, bending your knees a lot to roll up through the spine once more. Head is the last thing to recover, coming all the way to stand. And right away, let's transfer our weight over onto our left leg, finding eagle pose. So crossing the right leg once or twice over the left. Arms reach out beside you, and the right arm is going to cross underneath the left to bind once or twice, sinking low into the posture. Again, breathing into that position in the center of your back. Think of lifting your elbows up as much as you can. And release the grasp of your hands. Arms come up to the sides. Bring your hands to your hips as you release that right foot back down onto the mat. And we'll flow through once more to downward dog. So inhale, arms come up, palms to touch. Exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, placing the palms down, step back to plank, chaturanga. Inhale to upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Once again, taking a couple breaths here. And we'll release the knees down onto the mat. Come into a wide-legged child's pose, so toes, big toes together, knees come apart, and walking the palms forward. Melt the forehead down onto the mat, and just breathe. And keeping our forehead down, but let's walk the palms over to the right side. So your hands might come off the mat. So we're just stretching out the left side of our back. And coming to the other side, so now walking our hands over to the left. Planting the palms down, letting the forehead rest down to the floor once more. Stretching out the right side of our back. Really breathing into the stretch. And we'll come back to center for a few more breaths. Slowly walk your hands in, lift your forehead back up off the mat. We're going to walk forward and bring our stomach all the way down onto the floor, coming into a prone position here. So we're going to go through an exercise called YWT, because we're literally making a Y, a W, and a T with our arms. So the first is you're bringing your arms up overhead, and then just lifting your hands off the floor in a Y. Second is we bend the elbows in, lifting your hands off the floor to make a W, and pinching your shoulder blades together. And then again, coming out into a T, your thumbs are pointing towards the ceiling, and we lift, trying to bring the shoulder blades together. What's important while we do this is that we don't want the shoulders to creep up into the ears. We want to keep them pressing down the whole time, so the work isn't coming from our traps, which is our upper shoulders here. We want it really to happen from our mid-back, so we want to use our lats and more of the muscles in the center of our shoulder blades. So we'll give that a try. We're going to roll through 5 cycles of YWT. And while we do this, keep your core engaged and your feet pulling together so they're not too wide here. Arms are coming up overhead, and we're lifting our arms up into a Y. Head stays where it is. Bending the elbows in. W. And extending them out to the side. T. Again, second cycle, Y. And W. Keeping the shoulders pressing down the back as we continue into T. So your head isn't resting on the floor here. My nose is hovering slightly off the mat. Keeping my neck nice and long. So I'm not arching the back at all. I'm really just trying to target and work through the shoulder blades and the lats here. We're on our second last cycle. Last one, we have Y and W and T. And relax the arms down. We're going to come into Sphinx pose. So bringing your forearms flat onto the mat, palms are flat onto the mat. Depending on how close you bring your elbows in towards you will depend on the intensity of the stretch. So the closer towards you, the more intense the stretch will be. Again, pushing the shoulders down and away from you, not letting our shoulders creep up into our ears here. And just inhaling and exhaling into the stretch. Feel the belly button expanding and contracting into the floor as we breathe. on your next exhale, just walk your hands back out, all the way down onto the mat. So we're gonna bend our right arm now at a 90-degree angle, right out beside you. And then you're gonna take your left hand, bring it right underneath your shoulder. You're gonna bend your knees here and just roll over onto your right side, keeping your right hand where it is. So we're just stretching out the right side of our chest. Breathing into the stretch. If you'd like a bit of an extra challenge, you can try to bring that left hand to your lower back, or you can keep it pressing into the mat to help support you, which is the variation I'll be sticking with here. And on your next exhale, roll back onto your stomach and release your legs down onto the mat. We're going to switch sides. So the left arm is bent at a 90-degree angle, right hand comes in. We bend both of our legs and roll onto our left side, opening up the chest. Breathing into the stretch here. Again, if you'd like, you can bring that right hand to your lower back or keep it pushing into the floor here. I find this hand helps me deepen and intensify the stretch into the front of my left shoulder, into my pec. So I like to keep it there as a little bit of extra support. And on your next exhale, roll back onto your stomach. Release your feet back down onto the mat. And we're just going to do one final posture here while we're in a prone position. So just bring your hands out in front of you. Palms are facing in towards one another. Forehead is hovering slightly off the mat. We're just going to engage our glutes and our core. And on an inhale, we're going to lift our arms up as well as our feet. So kind of making a basket pose with our body. And exhaling, coming back down onto the mat, twice more like that. Inhale, lifting our hands and feet off the floor. Exhale, lower. Try to keep your feet close together as we inhale up for the last time. Try to find one more inch. And exhale, release. Keep the toes and knees together as we push back into a downward dog here, a child's pose here. So hips are resting on your heels, forehead melting towards the floor. And let's bring the arms by our sides. Taking a couple breaths, not too long here. And slowly rolling back up. We'll come all the way down to lie on our backs. I'm going to come into a shoulder stand to finish off the practice. If this feels a little bit too intense for anybody, feel free to use a wall to walk your feet up a wall, or you can take a block and just place it underneath your hips to slightly elevate your hips in this position as your legs are stretched up towards the ceiling. I'm going to go into the full shoulder stand variation. So lying down on your back, shoulders are flat against the floor, and we're just going to rock our feet up, trying to pull them up towards the sky, trying as best as we can to make a straight line from our heels all the way to our shoulders. It's definitely a posture I need a little bit more work on, but that's why we're doing it here. And if you feel comfortable going into plow pose, feel free to do that now. So you will extend your feet out behind you. I'm just going to bring my knees in towards my forehead. This is enough of a stretch for me. very slowly rolling down through our back, trying to stay nice and controlled. And lowering our feet back down onto the mat. We're just going to finish with a laying spinal twist. So lift your hips, bring them over to the right. Arms will come out to the sides and we'll cross our right leg over the left. As the knees fall to the left, eyes go towards the right. And just breathing into this twist. And on your next inhale, firming up the belly, bringing the knees back up. Switch your hips over to the left side. Cross your left leg over your right. Let the knees fall to the right, eyes go to the left, keeping both shoulders flat on the floor. The belly to lift the knees back up. Recenter your hips and we'll come all the way out into Shavasana. So take up space, palms facing the ceiling. Feet can open up. And just think of melting your body into the floor, especially your shoulder blades and upper back. Really allowing this area of the body give into gravity, to let go of any tension, and just melt into the floor. Let's take 10 breaths here, continuing with this image of melting into the floor. Slowly start to wake yourself back up by wiggling your fingers and toes, letting your head roll from side to side. When you're ready at your own pace, roll onto your right side and bring yourself back up to a seated position, keeping your eyes closed. And once you're sitting with a nice tall spine, let's inhale together and grow 3 inches taller. And on your exhale, feel your shoulders melt down your back. Let's do that again. Inhale, getting taller. Exhale, shoulders melt down your back. And last time, inhaling to grow taller. And exhale to let your shoulders fall down your back. Bring your hands into a prayer position in front of your chest. Very softly open your eyes and namaste. Thank you so much, yogis, for doing this really powerful practice with me for the shoulders and the upper back. I hope you feel nice and open in the chest just as much as I do. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, please subscribe to SKR Yoga and Wellness. And new, just for the last couple weeks, we now have a shop here at SKR Yoga and Wellness. So if you're looking to further your health and wellness journey, we have some products there that can definitely help you with that. So be sure to check it out. The link is down below. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you guys so much once again, and have a great rest of your day.